Hey BookTube, it's Mickey, and I'm back for another VEDA video. Yeah, lighting's not so good. I had a bunch of unexpected things happen this weekend, so I ended up not filming at all this weekend. I ended up going unexpectedly to Chicago and Detroit, and hadn't planned it at all. In fact, I had intended to do a bunch of pre-filming this weekend to make it so that I wouldn't have to film every day this week, but that didn't happen. So anyways, I'm here again though. Even though I technically will not have vlogged every day in August, I would have gotten really close. So I'm willing to try and see this through to the end. So I'm just going to do an inbox outbox video for you guys, just to give you guys an update on what I've read and what I'm currently reading, and be able to figure out what you guys are up to. So for Outbox, I only have one book. I'm in quite a reading slump right now still. I thought the readathon was going to help me, but it kind of really hasn't. I just really have not been in the mood to read. But the book that I did manage to finish is Hyperbole and a Half by Ali Broche. This is a comic kind of blog. She wrote a blog called Hyperbole and a Half, and she does these sort of drawings, and then it's kind of like a graphic novel basically. And I actually had followed her blog before I read this book, so a whole lot of the strips and the stories in here I have actually read before. But this was still fun. It was a really delightful read. She writes about a lot of different things. The main things kind of fall into like 4 categories. She's either talking about, she has a lot of stories about like funny childhood memories. There's a lot of stories about her own mental health issues and just sort of dealing with her own kind of screwed up thinking that is definitely very, very relatable. And then she has a bunch of stories about her dogs, which are hilarious. The whole book is really funny, and I did very much enjoy it. I would recommend it, especially if you've never read her blog before. If you've read her blog before, I don't know, like, I feel like I'm kind of happy I haven't bought this book, just because I really felt like a lot of it was review, as someone who kind of has been following Ali Broche for a little while. But it's still definitely worth a read, and I'm happy that I read it. I'm probably going to try and find another graphic novel to read sometime this week while I'm still in a slump. But right now I don't have that plan. But that's the only outbox, only thing that is going out the window. But I'm still working on, my inbox is still working on Invisible Man still. About halfway through now. I did not realize how dense this book was. I read this book for the first time when I was like 17 or 18 years old, and I remember really loving it when I read it, but I don't remember it being as dense as this is. Like, there is so much to purse through, so much to kind of, like, in some of these scenes, like, I'm just like, there is just so much going on. This book really, really makes me think, and so it's taking me a little longer to get through it, because I'm just not in a reading mood. And when you're not in a reading mood, a book that like kind of like stretches you kind of may not be the best thing to be reading at that moment. But I am enjoying it. I hope to finish it, but I do have to put it down for a little while because I got 2 library books that I need to get to, that are due by the end of this week. So I will be putting this down for a bit. And I will be reading, the first thing I'm going to be reading is Flying West by Pearl Cleage. This is a book of plays by Pearl Cleage. She is a playwright. She used to write for Essence magazine in like the 90s, I think. And this is a book of like 6 of her plays, I think. The one play that I've read from her is Chain, which is a one-woman show about a young girl who has, she's a drug addict, and she has been chained to the radiator in her living room by her parents in an attempt to save her from herself. And so that's the one play that I've read from this. The theater company that I'm a part of did a production of it, and so I wanted to try and read some more of her plays before this book is due back. Flying West, which is the title play, is about a group of African American women who are living out west. They moved out west in the late 1800s to try and take advantage of all of the new land and new things out there. And one of the things that was a benefit to them, because it was sort of lawless out there, a lot of the laws and rules and stuff that kind of kept black people down in, say, the South or in more developed areas are not relevant out in the West. So they were able to sort of build a community. But they are the play kind of takes place when there are more white people sort of moving into their community, and they're starting to possibly lose what they originally gained. So that's what the title play is, and there's a bunch of other plays in here too that I hope I can get through this week. It should work since it's plays are pretty short, so I'm going to be reading this. And then I'm also going to be reading Pierced by the Sun by Laura Esquivel. I read Like Water for Chocolate several months ago and really, really liked it. I think it's a great example of magical realism, which I'm not a big fan of, but I thought she did it really, really well. And it's also a really great romance. It's just really nice and kind of has like a fairy tale fable-esque type of vibe to it. And I really highly recommend it. And so I saw that this is her newest book. It was released a couple of months ago, and when I saw it, I figured I'd pick it up. Though this book, it sounds like nothing like Water for Chocolate. Like, it's a completely different type of book. It's about a girl named Lupita who had a really hard childhood growing up, and then she witnesses the murder of a local politician, and it kind of sends her into like a self-destructive spiral. And then she's also now caught up in this weird sort of conspiracy, and yeah, it's nothing like Water for Chocolate as far as I can tell, but I was still interested in reading it, so I'm going to be checking it out. It's pretty short and the font is really big, so maybe these two books can kind of get me out my slump a little bit, since they aren't too hard. They shouldn't be too dense and too hard to get through. But yeah, that's what I've read and what I am currently reading. Let me know down below what you've read and what you're currently reading, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye bye.